everybody doing? This is Dawn of the New Era Teachings, and we are going to explore some about shamanism today. So I'm super excited. I've been working with Dr. Susan Josephine for, gosh, how long has it been? 3 or 4 years?
Oh, I know. I don't know.
I don't know. Time when you're
a while.
when you're a shaman, time gets
Weird.
It gets weird. Yeah, we just meditated, and I was like, have we been meditating for 50 minutes or just 2? It's really been a pleasure. I feel like Spirit brings you, what do they say? When the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah, that's right.
I feel
Then
that.
you have to recognize the teacher as the student, and you have to recognize who that teacher is.
I love that. I love that. I still haven't taken to the term that I'm full on shaman yet, but we have a real life Midwest shaman here. And I have a few questions I wanted to ask her, just so this could become more mainstream. I think that was the vision, was having shamanism accessible to everyone, right? Because we are living in a world with such suffering and disconnection from spirit. And what I love about Susan's work, which is part of her work, is her calling spirits with posture trance, with trance postures. So I've been doing that with her for a few years. We're going to talk a little bit about them today, and her background, like where she's coming from, and shamanism in general. Because I feel like when people think of shaman, I've asked a couple friends, when you think of a shaman, what do you think of? And they think of like a little South American man in South America, So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. So, what can you say? What you feel like a shaman is?
Well, I think it is. I think being a shaman isn't an isness. It's a role, and it's a function as the conduit, the middle between this world and the other world, and what other world it is, because there are a lot of them. It's like we're living in the greater reality, and the idea is that the shaman stands at the doorway and helps you see the greater reality and live in that greater reality, and that's different for each of us. It has got to do with where we are and what our path is. And I think one thing that's important to understand is that this is about spiritual practice. It's not about religion. And that people can come to this greater reality from many, many different paths. There are many different paths. Each of us is walking a different path. And the reality that we live in is what emerges when these paths interact with one another and kind of live beside each other and bump into each other, but each one of us is walking a different path. And so the shaman role isn't about beliefs. It's not about telling somebody, well, you have to believe this and this is what the truth is. It's about helping people walk their path.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Yes. Rather than where some religions can try to put everyone on the same path,
Right,
which then probably keeps them from living their soul's purpose here.
Totally. And so it's like you can have a religion, like in these trances that we do. These are trances. I learned how to do these trances from my mother, Felicitas Goodman, who was an anthropologist who discovered that in the ancient art there are postures recorded. You take this posture in trance, you then enter a world. And I've been doing these for maybe 35 years or something with people, and there are so many different worlds, and when somebody can come from completely different orientations in the trance. So that you hold the posture, and then what happens is has got to do with what your individual path. There's no everybody doing the same thing. It's like everybody does what is important for them. And if you come from a religious orientation, then you have a trance experience, and then you interpret that experience into your religious belief system. And so one person might see a woman in their trance, with a fluttering, with the white and the blue, which is how she's appeared to me, and that would be for them, because they're Catholic, that's the Virgin Mary, and for someone else that might be an Aztec deity. It just really depends upon where you're coming from, and then what aspect you see, what door opens for you in the trance. So it feels to me like it's really important for people to know about these doorways, to have access to these spiritual practices, because as our environment changes, as we enter the new age, it seems to me important that we then know how to walk in that age, and so we can hear the spirit voices. One thing that's gone wrong, I think, in the way we were before, in the previous age, how we've connected to nature, is that we've thought of it as human-centric.
Mm-hmm.
And we've thought, okay, we know that, how this affects us as humans. We haven't been thinking about how we affect it. So we haven't respected the mother, the earth.
Yes.
Right? And so we need to respect the earth and live in that greater reality as it merges and changes in a respectful way.
Agreed.
And that requires opening ourselves up to these other beings,
Mm-hmm.
to this greater world.
And I like what your son Seth says, even if you're not, open to spirits and stuff like that, once you're suffering enough, you become willing to look at these things that are working versus what isn't working. But I like how he said, it's an access to the subconscious mind too.
Absolutely.
Which we've been not in.
And for some people who have no spiritual dimension at all, for example, I had somebody come to a trance, which was the hawk, which we're going to do in just a...
Excited.
Yeah, not
Couple weeks.
In a couple weeks, right. This is a horse trance. It's from ancient Egypt. It's about your personal power. People fly as the hawk. And you could take it anywhere. And I remember years ago somebody doing that trance, and then the issue that he went into the trance with was he had two girlfriends, and he was trying to decide which one was the special one, the one he should
Be with.
be with.
I say both, but okay.
There you go.
New era, both.
He wanted to choose which one, and so he turned into a hawk, and he's flying, and one girlfriend also turned into a hawk, and the other girlfriend turned into a different kind of bird.
Ah.
And so afterwards he said, okay, well, that helped him, because now he had figured out that, did he want somebody that was like him, or did he want somebody who was different from him?
That's powerful.
But he didn't, think that his spirit animal was a hawk,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have wasn't a spiritual experience for him. It was understanding. It was a kind of a way for his intuition to grasp his situation.
Yeah.
So it like opened a door for him, but a different door than for somebody else.